I'm manager, the caddy manager. You want to fight about it? All right, I'm different. So, okay, so I'm gonna go through a couple of dreams I've been having. I don't know what they mean, but they mean something because they've been coming frequent and more frequent, and I think something's up. I just think something's up. I know something's up, and I'm not a scientist, but I just think something's up. I don't know what it is, but we all gotta share what we can. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really, you know what I'm saying? I do like this beat. All right, so change it up. That almost fits the theme, but that's right. Okay, so one dream I had. These are all recent, within the last week. All right, so or within the last 2 weeks. Okay, so about 2 days ago, I had this dream, and it was right before I woke up. Too, it was a short. It was almost a nightmare, but it wasn't. Okay, so I don't know. It was real cold. It was winter, dead of winter, like really, really cold, like dangerous outside. And there was this white couple, and this woman wasn't sure what to do. It was just so cold outside. It was unordinarily cold outside in the state of Ohio. It just doesn't get this cold. And as a matter of fact, for anywhere on the planet, this was just unordinary. So nonetheless, it was so cold outside that you're not supposed to be there. Nonetheless, so the wind was blowing, but the way the wind was blowing and howling, it was just blowing. It was like something else was in the air. It was like something else was making it cold outside other than nature. And we didn't know what it was. But so I guess I was part of a group of people who were just kind of lost and didn't know what to do. But I came up on this white couple, and this girl, she a woman, she had a white parka on. I remember, with the hood and everything, and she was standing beside a car, and she was calling for her boyfriend, some big white guy, and she was calling his name, and she kept calling him and calling him, and I got to her before he did, because I noticed that she didn't get in the car, and it was dangerous to stand outside. So I'm like, why isn't she getting in the car? And when I got to her, and she was just standing there calling his name, and she wouldn't move. And so when I got to her, I turned her around to look at her, and her whole face was bloody. And she just kind of looked at me, and it was like she wanted to cry, but she couldn't. But her skin was coming off her face. It's almost like frostbitten, but it wasn't frostbitten. It was like something. It was like she was being. I don't know. It was. It wasn't frostbitten, because frostbitten turns dark. Her face was just bloody, and whatever was happening to her was. It wasn't just because of the cold. It was something else happening to her, but I can't understand what it was. So, nonetheless, we got her in the car, and I was in the passenger seat, and she was actually in the driver's seat, and it was still like she couldn't respond to help her own self. And eventually, we started the car and got her warm, and then I woke up. But something else was going on with her. But we couldn't understand why she didn't help herself. It was like she couldn't. So she was just calling for help, like for somebody to come to help her. And this was like a 30-year-old woman, you know? So something else was going on with her, but we could not understand. But the way her face was all bloody, and the way she just looked at me, she could not help herself. So something else was going on other than the cold. So another dream I had, me and a group of people, we were running from these white folks. And there was a bunch of white guys, and basically they were trying to stop us. They were just like marauders. So it was like the world was out of order. And so some of us were in a van and some other people were on like motorcycles. And we were trying to get away from these guys, but there were so many of them and none of them were in a vehicle. But there were so many of them that we just kept running into like crowds of them. And they eventually stopped our car and got all of us out the car. And we knew that they wanted whatever we had. They wanted to rob us and, of course, do worse to us. And I remember they had the leader and a couple other guys had on these jean jackets. My battery's low. So the leader had on these jean jackets, right? Let's see if I can save this. Come on, come on, come on, John. Save it, save it. Save. Ooh, 4%. All right, I'm in. Uh, all right, so the leader had on these like these jean jackets, and they had, you know, stuff that are like patches on them, and all the patches meant something. So I think it meant, I don't know, something with superiority or whatever. And nonetheless, they finally got us out, and we tried to escape over this bridge. And I think the bridge was indicative of what was going on in the world. But there were so many of us, and so many of them, and they caught up to us. And we tried to cross this bridge. And the one guy who was with me, he was like, the only way to get away from these guys is to cross this bridge. But as you can see, the bridge is old and we can't get across it. So, you know, I think that was the end for us. Another dream, I was lost. I was in a city that I knew, and I was trying to find my vehicles. I had a bunch of cars that I had left. And I went back, I went to look for these cars and I couldn't find them. So I was like, I know I live around here and I left some cars here, but why can't I find the cars I used to have? So I was basically in Pittsburgh, but I couldn't find my cars. So I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't have a bunch of money, so I ended up walking. And then I was downtown. When I was downtown, there was this train. And I noticed that all these people were either getting on the train or crossing this bridge, this huge bridge. When they were crossing the train, this bridge, some of them were crossing the bridge on this train. So it was like we were in Delhi somewhere. A bunch of people just on the train, and I jumped on the back of the train because I don't know where I was going. I was just kind of lost, but I was kind of following the people. People were walking across this bridge, and I keep having the dreams about these bridges. But nonetheless, so this girl, this black girl, she was talking to me. She didn't really want to talk to me. I was talking to her, asking her questions. And I asked her what her name was. I said, "What's your name?" And she told me what her name was. And I said, "What does that mean?" She said, "Werewolf." She said her name meant werewolf. I was like, that's strange. Anyway, so I came to the last stop and it was nighttime and I got off the train and I was lost in the city. And, I woke up because I was just walking around. Eventually, I woke up. So I had another dream a couple of weeks ago that Will Smith and I were in this junkyard, and he was dressed like, the I Am Legend, like Neville, Dr. Neville, you know. And we were in Pittsburgh again, near where I used to live in Braddock, but we were in the industrial part. We was kind of like in a junkyard, but it was a place where they had like coal and stuff like that, and this other material. It looked like charcoal or whatever it was. But so we were in that area, and I don't know where Will Smith came from, but he was walking on this coal, and then he had walked down like a hilly part of it, and he started talking to me. And when he was talking to me, he was looking straight ahead, but he was looking kind of upward. And then all of a sudden, this grid showed up. This grid, as if it was like the Matrix or something, just showed up, and uh, it was like these walls just showed up, but you could walk through these walls, like you could reach your hand through these walls because it was like it was pixelated. But nonetheless, what was going on is the fabric of our reality, the fabric of Earth, of this plane of existence was being shown to us. And that's basically what Will was trying to tell me. He was like, and the thing about it is, he had shown up because he had been investigating the same phenomena all over the place. And I just happened to be, at the right place at the right time where an investigator showed up, who was Will Smith, and he was basically saying, this is the fabric of our reality, and it's breaking apart. So I was like, whoa, that's deep. So I just been having these really weird dreams, and I don't know what they mean, but I know something's going on because I'm one of those people that God likes to give dreams to, and I don't know what they mean, but God likes to give dreams to people so other people can tell you what they mean. He doesn't. God doesn't give you these dreams so you can just hold on to them and not say anything. He's telling you this because you need to tell somebody else, and then that somebody else is gonna be like, "This is what's going on," and it's going to happen, whatever it is. So, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's been doing, if you look in the Bible, God has been giving people dreams for the longest time. When I was handing them over to me, well, He's been giving them to me. But these are a lot of, I don't know, but it has something to do with our world. And it's basically saying, I mean, you should have saw that grid. I mean, it would remind you of the Matrix, but it wasn't the Matrix. They weren't numbers. They were literally pixelations and constructs that kind of snapped together. And it just kept going up and up and up and up. And the more you, and then it kept, and then it was being revealed to us more and more and more. As we were looking at it, the more we looked at it, the more was revealed to us that this plane of existence isn't what we thought it was. We just kept staring at it, and Will kept talking to me, and he was telling me about what it was. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Anyways, I just want to share those dreams. Uh, and of course, I've been having a lot of nightmares, just a lot of them. But some of these nightmares, are meaning of something. I just don't know what about.